Hello everyone, Shriram here. So now we have a beautiful success story from Brente. She cleared a PMP very recently and she's so excited. Her LinkedIn is very busy after the post. Right? So here we have her beautiful certificate. So she did a certificate in the date of 25th of November. And after a hard work and a lot of dedication, she was able to achieve this. She's performing as a role as a project manager, and she's a very prominent player in the organization. So congratulations to Brente from ShriLearning. We are so happy for your success. We'll be very much happy to hear on your success path how you came to this success completion of PMP. Yes, Brente.
Okay, so don't take studying for the exam lightly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've studied since May
Wow.
and had several target dates, but I wanted to make sure that I knew
Mm-hmm.
that I knew the information before, because I wanted to make sure that I mastered in one attempt, in my first attempt. You know, that was, so I had a project within a project.
Sub projects.
Right. So a couple things that I really took into consideration is from your training is that the exam is created by multiple PMP inputs all around the world. Means that when you include so many different people, although you have a foundation, there's so many different interpretations of the information.
Right.
So, so you take the foundation course through the ShriLearning and you
Mhm.
listen to ShriLearn and pick up on all the key points of the topics or statements that can help you become successful. It's very important to really be conscious when you're listening to the information and then identifying how you can, incorporate that information into your study habits.
Right.
So for me, the foundation course is a foundation.
Hmm.
But foundation course, it's still up to you, the individual, to put in the work. You
Right.
have to work. You have to do research. You have to expose yourself to a variety of ways that people ask questions and their explanations and compare and contrast that information until you get to the point where all the different variations make sense
Right.
and that you can think outside of the box. You have to be able to think outside of the box.
Perfect. Perfect. I like that. You are absolutely right. The foundation course alone will not help you to go to exam. That opens a door that, hey, this is what you have to start reading.
Mhm.
Then you have to do a lot more research on how much I understood already, how much I did in my corporate, how much the world is changing, right? So
Mhm.
those things is very important. Pretty good,
Yeah.
impressive, impressive. And what is your current role and what you are playing now in your corporate?
So my current role right now is I am a project manager at Johns Hopkins Hospital.
Wow.
Role is to oversee the entire Johns Hopkins Medicine template management optimization program.
Perfect, perfect. So do you see this PMP is going to directly relevant to what you do?
Yes, I feel that the PMP will provide me enough of the background information to um, utilize those skills with dealing with so many different key stakeholders throughout the entire entity of Johns Hopkins Hospital.
Perfect, perfect. Great, great. So which book you preferred as a good book to read?
So for my prep course book, I'm going to be honest with you.
Please.
I did not read the PMP book at all. I didn't. I didn't read it.
Okay.
I referenced it, referred back to it.
You saw the size of the book, said no.
So I didn't read the books.
Okay.
I didn't read. I ordered books. I never read the books.
Oh, you have it at home.
I have the PMP, the PMBOK guide. I have the Head First PMP. I have the. I never read any. But I learned differently. I learned differently from everyone else. Like I referenced the book. So, so this was my strategy.
Very good. Okay.
Some people said you need to do 2,000 sample questions. The more questions, the better. When someone said do 2,000 sample questions, I did 4,000 sample questions. Which each sample question, I referenced the page number, and I might have read that particular part of the answer that related to that question.
Right.
That's how, I guess if you think about it, well, maybe I did read it, but I read it in bits and pieces as it related to the question. So if, like the daily questions that you send 11 daily questions.
Yeah.
So for each question that you sent out, I would go to the PMBOK guide and find the page number for that question. Okay. And write down my answer and the page number. And at the end of the day, when you would send out the answer sheet, then I would compare. Did I find it on the right page? Did I, so that's what I did. I never sat down and read the books from cover to cover. I read it in bits and pieces over the course of time to make it relate to the type of question that was being asked.
I think that's an impressive strategy. Rather than reading every line, you took a question and you understood from where this justification is coming. And you understood from the exam perspective.
Right.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. How many hours you spend per day on average?
So in the beginning, I started with you at the end of May. And it was probably, 2 to 3 hours, 4 hours in between my full-time job. And I also have a dog breeding business that I do of Imperial Shih Tzus. It's like a luxury dog. And so between that and my family and my business, I would probably get about 3 hours a day.
That's
But after the third reschedule of the exam, I said, okay, this is it. My house is quiet. I locked it down for 2 months.
Oh. Okay.
Times 10 hours a day. Wow. And then I would only give myself like 1 hour TV time or 1 hour of social media time just to like decompress. But I did it for 7 days a week from September the 25th to November the 25th, nonstop. And I have a folder of all the questions that you sent me since May that I was going through, looking through those questions. I was looking at some stuff on YouTube. I wanted to make sure that what I looked at on YouTube was like within the current year, nothing from beyond or older than 1 year.
Okay.
And listening to, all the different perspectives, because like no one knows what's going to be on the exam. You don't know.
Right.
To be honest with you, even after 4,000 or more practice questions, probably only saw, and this is a huge estimate, maybe 20.
Right.
Maybe 20 questions that I've seen somewhere along the way that it triggered, like, this sounds familiar, but the answers weren't the same as probably the answers that I had in the question before. So with that, I did stick to your strategy of, when the question pops up, read the question, look at the answers, and pick the best answer. Because if you only go by the format of the PMBOK guide, and you really don't interpret that, monitoring and controlling is not the fourth process, is ongoing from initiation onwards. Like if you can't process that the processes, the 49 processes are constantly working iteratively throughout, and you're stuck in, so I have to do this first, and I have to do this second, and I have to do this third, like you'll be completely messed up on the exam. Like you can't think of it that way. Like even with developing a project management plan, so when do you have the kickoff? Once the project management plan is completed. So how do you know that it's officially completed? Well, once all the baselines are approved. It's different. And if you think that, okay, once I go to define scope and I get my scope baseline, that part is approved and done. Now I'm going to the next step. Like you'll be so messed up on the exam. So
Got you. Got you.
yeah.
It's really interesting that you are able to connect the dots and see that the relation between the flow. That's pretty important. And I'm so impressed you spend 10 hours a day of reading. Woo. Pretty much energetic. Okay.
Yeah.
How is it exam? Did you went to center-based exam or is it a Proctor exam?
I did the online Proctor exam. So I'm in the US, and I think the closest place at the time was maybe 8 hours away.
Okay.
So my thought process was I wasn't going to drive anywhere because I want to celebrate, and you can't celebrate if you back on the road trying to get back home to celebrate. I wanted to do it at home in the safety of, my home, coronavirus and all of that. Okay. So with the online, what I did is I checked my systems 3 times over the course of scheduling. Okay, this is the last time. I'm not rescheduling. This is the day I'm going to take it. This is it. So prior to that, I did my system tests. I did the system test 3 times. However, what I will say is like my home workstation is set up with 3 monitors and a webcam.
Oh, 3 monitors?
Yes.
You work like a NASA scientist. You have all the monitors around you?
Yes, like right here, right where I am right now, I have 3 monitors right here.
Wow.
So if you do decide to take the exam at home, you have to disconnect from all the monitors.
Oh.
Yeah. So like if I'm on my big primary monitor that I use, which is separate from the laptop monitor, once the locks up your computer, you're only going to have access to your laptop screen.
Right.
Yeah. So just don't even set it up. the monitors to begin with. Just don't even, because I didn't know that. That lock it up. I thought, you know, the monitor that I did everything on, they would at least let me keep this one, but they didn't. So the webcam is over here, and my laptop is way over here. So I had to pull the laptop in front of me, and the laptop in front of me, when you're moving your cursor, like for me, since you can't have any ink pens or papers or anything on your desk or anything, I like to, when I was doing my sample question, I would have an ink pen in my hand and like the ink pen as a pointer.
Right.
Well, you can't do that. So with the mouse, I was trying to move the mouse as the pointer. And what happened is the mouse would go up to the screen behind me. And I'm like, where did the mouse go? So I was like, oh my goodness, it's taking me like 4 seconds to get the mouse back down to the laptop. So, yeah, so just everything was just on the laptop screen. And I should have disconnected the webcam and just used my webcam that's already on the laptop, because since it was on the laptop screen, I was bending down trying to look at it, and then the proctor was saying, move back, we can't see.
Yeah.
I was out the view of, like, you know, looking down like this. He's like, we can't see, you gotta move back. So the whole time I was like, okay, don't move the mouse. And I mean, I literally sat like this throughout the whole exam. So I guess that was my online blunder, you know.
Oh my God. That's crazy. That's really crazy. 4 hours sitting like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's really tough. Also, you can't read the text properly as it's far away from you. See, in exam, we have the intention to read pretty closer what they're saying. You can't sit and read like it's not a newspaper. I can feel your pain.
Yeah. So after every question, I was just like, to the next one. Like, okay, I think I read it right, and but I just kept going. Like,
Wow. Great efforts. I appreciate it. So, which city you are in? Where you are
I'm
now?
in Odenton, Maryland. So I'm in between Washington, D.C. and Baltimore.
Oh, so you have to go to examines, you have to go to Baltimore.
No, I would have had to go to Virginia.
That's pretty far for you?
It is. It's not that far, but the location was like far in Virginia. So.
That's not a good advice in that case. Okay, that's an interesting story. So how was the questions? How do you felt it? You prepared these many thousands of questions. So
right.
When the first question came up, how was it?
I was like, what?
Are you sure?
Like, what are you asking?
Oh,
and
yeah.
then answers like, wait, none of these answers really go with this question. Like, what?
You felt the PMP is wrong. The question looks wrong.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, they were very vague. The questions are very vague, and so are the answers. So basically, you just have to go through a process of an elimination. Like, you need to pick out a keyword in the question.
Right.
To help you kind of like mentally visualize what part of the project process are they talking about. And then, okay, so based on that one keyword, and look at the answers, and then do a process of elimination. Like, well, you know, is this really related to that? Is initiating really related to closing? Like, you have to like pick out keywords and do like a word association, almost like compare the question out of the answers. Which ones can you eliminate? What absolutely feels like it does not belong to this question?
Mm, got you.
Once you start eliminating or put them in order, so what would you do first? Would you do this first, then this, like put them in order in your mind and then pick the one that you would do first. So I also want to mention this. I did not do a data dump at all. I did not do a data dump. I did not uh, put anything on the whiteboard to save. I didn't. Because I just felt like, even though in my practices, I was able to create a strategy of abbreviations of all the 49 processes and all the formulas in about 7 minutes tops, because I was timing myself. How fast could I write this down? But because I had practiced it so much, I was like, I'm not even going to waste time with it, putting that on a whiteboard.
Right.
But I want my whole 4 hours, so.
That's really impressive. That's impressive. Yeah. Great, great. Which area of questions you felt pretty tough for you, like scope, schedule?
Um,
Some area you would have felt, man, this is crazy tough. These guys are drilling me.
you know what? I had, so it's a blur. Like, it really is a blur because I don't know, my adrenaline was pumped. So let me tell you, even though my son won't admit it, he stayed up all night long the night before.
Wow.
I didn't get any sleep at all. So like exhausted. And then I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do. I'm so tired. And then I was up doing like jumping jacks and stuff, like trying to get like, okay, like wake up. And like wake up so I could get ready. Yeah, it was like the most craziest day ever. But
yeah.
yeah, so I mean I was up like all night long, and then at maybe around 6 o'clock in the morning, I said, you know what, just forget it. You're not gonna get any sleep. Just do one more practice exam. So I literally did the practice prep cast number 7.
Yeah.
And so from like 6 to 10, I did that exam. And then I really started, and then I got my score. And it wasn't nearly as high as my other scores, but I passed. But I was like, I was feeling like unsure. And then I said, well, I'm just gonna do it. Like, I don't know what to be on the exam. Like, you don't know. So yeah, it was just like surreal. That's all I can say. It's just like really surreal.
Got you. Now, your practice exam scores were pretty good. In a sense, it was so consistent. You didn't drop down, you didn't steep up. You are very consistent on your scores. It means
Mhm.
it means you are processing the question in the right order. That's how it works. So I was able to see that. So are you able to complete all 200 questions in 4 hours? Was it?
So yes, I finished my exam. Actually, I finished my exam 3 hours and 42 minutes.
Wow, you remember it.
Yeah. So I didn't do any review because I didn't want to take the chance of changing my answer. Like I picked one and kept going. And so it said, do you want to review? I said, no, submit. And
Oh, that's it.
I
Over.
was being a gambler that day.
Let's go to Las Vegas. Let's do this gambling.
Right. No, I didn't review anything because if I review, then I might second guess myself and then change. And so I was just like, you know what?
Got you.
Yourself, pick the best one that you see and just keep moving forward.
Yeah, it shows pretty confidence of yourself. More than the mind change, you would have felt confident. Yes, I had done a good job. Let's proceed, right? But when you click
Right.
the last button, you would have prayed, God, please make me.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yes, because I was like, what? They said like congratulations. I was like, what? Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. A really good experience.
Yeah.
Great, Brandy. First of all, thanks a lot. In fact, sharing all this experience, because your experience will help some of them. Specifically, you said about the monitor. So
Mhm.
be prepared for it. And also, you have to be. You cannot go close and read like that. You have to sit in a comfortable place, right? So you have to make sure you sit in a comfortable place and properly set and start the exam.
Right.
If not, it's going to exhaust you. Um,
Mhm.
one of the candidate went for the examination. She could not place in a proper height of the computer. So she gained a neck pain when the exam is going. She,
Mm.
she couldn't focus well. She keep on stretching. They feel that, hey, don't do like that. Sit straight.
Mhm.
It's a kind of disturbing. So we have to be prepared for the exam. That's a good message. Got it,
Mhm.
right? And I like the way you 342 you saw click it enough over no review. That's pretty good, pretty good. I think now you should be more relieved, free to watch
Yeah.
television, social media. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, just for a little while, not long. I think I have 2 weeks to enjoy, and then I have to get right back to studying for the next certification. It's like when once you achieve one, you have to be like, if it's something that you are on fire for, then you got to keep the fire burning. Like you can't give up. Like, oh, I just I finally got this, so I can relax. No, this is the time. The pandemic is still here, and and it's sad to say this, but it's true. It's going to be so many opportunities that's going to open up, and unfortunately, a lot of those opportunities are going to be because of things that's happened to people during the course of the pandemic. However, once this is over or during the course of this, like, if you're staying safe at home and following the rules, and what you should do is just make sure that you're investing in yourself. And it's like, this is not the time to relax. This is the time to get hungry and on fire for coming out of this more marketable skills, and just being able to present yourself as the highly qualified individual for those opportunities, because it's going to be a lot of opportunities available for
Great, great. That's inspirational. Wow. That's motivating, really. I feel that. Brenti, to be honest, I have spoken to people who clear the exam. Next day, they start reading something more because that the energy level is very high, and you realize that if I learn more, I can earn more.
Right.
You can grow higher and higher, right? That
Mhm.
energy level is pretty high. And also, I got your point. The pandemic is around there, which is giving you more time for yourself to realize your value. That's
Yeah.
pretty good. Fantastic. Great a lot. Great. By the way, thanks a lot, Brent, for coming up here on a Sunday. I know you have a busy day in the morning, and you came up here to give some inputs and good wishes from ShriLearning and team. Of course, it is a great trust from your side to come up to learn things and follow with us and get yourself certified. So we'll be so much happy to see you winning more in your corporate life and also in the leadership path.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a wonderful experience for me.
Great. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy your learning path. We'll stay connected for more achievements.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Take
you. Bye. Bye bye.
care. All right. Bye bye.